Good evening class. Welcome to your Walkathon series on NCERT History MCQs. Let's continue from where we left off in previous class. First question. Devganar Martye Agaman, a famous novel of 1880s, was written by. The given options are option A, Baba Padminji, option B, Lakshman Moreshwar Holbe, option C, Durga Charan Roy, option D, Harinarayan Apte. The answer for this is option C, who is Durga Charan Roy. In 1818, he wrote a novel, Devganar Martye Agaman, which means the gods visit earth, in which Brahma, the creator in Hindu mythology, took a train to Calcutta with some other gods. So answer is option C, Durga Charan Roy. Moving on to the next question. Which Indian city was first to get smoke nuisance legislation? The given options are option A, Calcutta, option B, Bombay, option C, Madras, option D, Surat. The answer is option A, Calcutta. The high content of ash in Indian coal was a problem, and numerous appeals were made to remove the polluting mills from the city, but they had no impact. However, in 1863, Calcutta became the first Indian city to get smoke nuisance legislation. So the answer is Calcutta. Proceeding to the next question. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. East India Company appointed Gomastas to supervise weavers, consolidating its power in region. And statement 2. In 1760, East India Company captured textile market in India. Which of the following statement is not correct? The options are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both of them, option D, none of the above. I will give you 10 seconds of time. Kindly mention your answers in the comment section, please. Answer is option A, which is statement 2 is incorrect. Moving on to the statement 1 explanatory part. East India Company, in order to establish its monopoly right to trade, it appointed a paid servant called the Gomasta to supervise weavers, collect supplies and examine the quality of cloth. So the statement 1 is correct, whereas the statement 2 is not accurate, because in 1760 the East India Company did have a presence in the Indian textile market, but it did not completely dominate or capture the entire market at that time. So it only had its presence, but it did not capture entirely at that time. So only the second statement is incorrect. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following were highly industrialized region of India? The given options are option A, Hyderabad and Madras, option B, Bengal and Bombay, option C, Bombay and Delhi, option D, Delhi and Madras. The answer is Option B, which is Bengal and Bombay. After the war, factories started to grow steadily in India, but they were still not a big part of the economy at that time, whereas most of the big industries, around 67% of them in 1911, were found only in Bengal and Bombay. In rest of the country, small scale production remained the dominant form of economic activity. So the option B, which is Bengal and Bombay, is the correct answer. Proceeding to the next question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, low price. 2, cheap quality. 3, mission made. Which of the following statements are correct about Manchester made cloths? The given options are option A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 2 and 3 only, option C, 1 and 3 only, option D, none of these. Kindly post your answers in the comment section, please. I will give you 5 seconds of time. The answer is option C, which is only the first and third statements are correct. Moving to the explanatory part. Cloths made in Manchester were cheap in price compared to Indian made cloth, which is mentioned in the statement 1, and the label was also to be make mark of quality. So the statement 2 is correct, which is mentioned as cheap quality, but it is not. And usually when buyers saw made in Manchester written in bold on the label, they were expected to feel confident about buying the cloth. This says about the quality, and the cheap in the price is marked. And the cloths made in the Manchester were mission made, that's why they were low in price. So the answer is option C, where only 1 and 3rd statements are correct. Proceeding to the next question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1, Marathi novel Yamuna Pariyatan was written by Lakshman Moreshwar Halbe. And statement 2, Muktamale of 1861 was written by Baba Padmanji. Which of the following are correct? The given options are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, all of the above, option D, none of the above. We have to choose which is the correct statement. Answer is option D, where both the statements are incorrect. Moving to the explanatory part. The earliest novel in Marathi was Baba Padmanji's Yamuna Pariyatan, which is written in 1857, which used a simple style of storytelling to speak about the widows. And later this was followed by Lakshman Moreshwar Halbe's, which he written was Muktamala in 1861. This was not a realistic novel, but it is presented an imaginary romance narrative with a moral purpose. So in the statement it is mentioned as reverse, which is given in the question. So the option D, none of the above, is the correct answer for this question. Proceeding to the next question. Who among them introduced printing press in India? Option A, Mughals. Option B, Turks. Option C, Portuguese. Option D, English. The answer is option C, by Portuguese. They were the first to introduce the printing press in India during the 16th century. From 1780, James Augustus Hickey began to edit the Bengal Gazette, which is a weekly magazine that described itself as a commercial paper open to all but influenced by none. So it was private English enterprise, proud of its independence from colonial influence, that began English printing in India. So the Portuguese is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following was first novel of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay? The given options are Durgesh Nandini, option B, Anandmat, option C, Mrinalini, option D, Kapal Kundala. I will give you 5 seconds of time. Please mention your answers in the comment section. The answer is option A, which is Durgesh Nandini. It is a historical novel written by Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1865. It tells the story of a brave princess named Durgesh Nandini and her love story with a nobleman during the time of Mughal India. The novel is a significant work in Bengali literature and contributed to the development of the language and also culture during the colonial period. So option A is the correct answer. These books and novels, all these stands very important for the exam. Try to note it. Proceeding to the next question. Who published the first modern novel in Malayalam in 1889? The given options are option A, Kandavalli Ramachandra Rudre, option B, Chandu Menon, option C, C.V. Raman Pilla, option D, Lakshman Rao Godkar. The answer is option B, Chandu Menon. Chandu Menon, a subject from Malabar. Firstly, he wanted to translate an English novel called Hanireta Temple into Malayalam, but he realized that people in Kerala weren't familiar with how English novel characters lived. Their clothes, language and manners were unfamiliar, so that he decided not to translate it directly. Instead, he wrote a story in Malayalam that followed the style of English novels, and this story became Indulekha, published in 1889, and it was the first modern novel in Malayalam. So, the first modern novel in Malayalam is Indulekha, which was published by Chandu Menon. So, the option B is the correct answer. Moving forward to the next question. Which of the following novel was written by Devaki Nandan Khatri? The options given are option A, Amar Jiban, option B, Istri Dharma Vichar, option C, Chandrakanta, option D, Gulamgiri. I'll give you 5 seconds of time. Please post your answers in the comment section. The answer is option C, Chandrakanta. Devaki Nandan Khatri's writings created a novel reading public in Hindi. His most famous book, Chandrakanta, was a love story with elements of fantasy that made Hindi language and the Nagari script more popular among educated people back then. Even though the book was meant for the pleasure of reading, it also revealed what the readers of the time were afraid of and what they wished for. So, option C is the correct answer for this question. Moving on to the next question. What is Kabir Larai? The given options are option A, a novel, option B, musical stories, option C, dance performance, option D, poetry contest. I'll give you 10 seconds of time. Please mention your answers in the comment section. Chandana Brothers, option C. Oh yeah, for the previous question it is the correct answer. The answer is option D, poetry contest. Moving to the explanatory part. The old merchant elite of Calcutta patronized public forms of entertainment such as poetry contests and many more forms of entertainments. Proceeding to the next question. Padmarak is a novel that showed the need for women to reform their condition by their own actions. Who was the writer of this novel? The given options are option A, Premchand, option B, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Option C, Rokeya Hossain. Option D, Sarojini Naidu. The answer is option C, Rokeya Hossain. He showed the need for women to reform their condition by their own actions. To express her views, she wrote a novel called Padmarag. So it was written by Rokeya. Option C is the correct answer. Moving to the next question. Which of the following newspaper was published by Raja Ram Mohan Rai? The given options are option A, Sambad Kaumudi, option B, Samachar Chandrika, option C, Voice of India, option D, Amrita Bazar Patrika. The answer is option A, Sambad Kaumudi. Raja Ram Mohan Roy published the Sambad Kaumudi in 1821. To reach a wider audience, the ideas were printed in the everyday spoken language of ordinary people. So the option A is the correct answer. One second. It's a previous question. The answer is Sambad Kaumudi. Proceeding to the next question. In which year the Suppressive Act, the Vernacular Press Act, was passed? The given options are option A, 1857, option B, 1878, option C, 1885, option D, 1905. The answer is option B, 1878. The Vernacular Press Act was passed in the 1878. This act was enacted by the British colonial government in India, and they aimed to suppress the Indian language press, and it imposed strict censorship and control over newspapers and publications in Indian languages, making it difficult for them to criticize or to oppose British policies and actions. This act was part of the British government's effort to curb disagreement and maintain control during the colonial period. So this act was passed in the year 1878. Proceeding to the next question. Who started the first newspaper in India, the Bengal Gazette? The given options are Dadabhai Naoroji, option B, James Augustus Hickey, option C, N. Sen, option D, John Adams. The answer is option B, James Augustus Hickey. We already discussed about this in earlier question. So skipping to the next question, that is 81st. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. The Vijayanagara kings claimed to rule on behalf of Lord Venkateshwara. Statement 2. Vijayanagara rulers used the title Hindu Suratna, which literally means Hindu Sultan. Which of the following are not correct? The options are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, all of the above, option D, none of the above. The answer is option A, where only the statement 1 is incorrect, whereas it is likely to be said that very choice of the site of Vijayanagara was inspired by the existence of shrines of Virupaksha and Pampa Devi. In fact, the Vijayanagara kings claimed to rule on behalf of the god Virupaksha, but not on behalf of Lord Venkateshwara, which is mentioned in the statement. In fact, all royal orders were signed as Sri Virupaksha, usually in the Kannada script. So, the statement 1 is absolutely incorrect, whereas the statement 2 is correct, as rulers also indicated their close links with the gods by using the title Hindu Suratna. This was a Sanskritization of Arabic term Sultan, meaning king, so literally meant Hindu Sultan. So, statement 2 is the correct and statement 1 stands as incorrect. So, the option for this answer is A. Proceeding to the next question. Consider the following. Tulwas dynasty, Saluvas dynasty, Sangam dynasty, Aravidu dynasty. Arrange the following dynasties in correct chronology. The given options are on the screen. We have to choose in chronological order. The answer is option B, which is firstly the Vijayanagara Empire was founded in 1336 AD by Harihara I and his brother Bukkaraya I in Deccan. This empire is named after its capital city of Vijayanagara. In this, there were 4 dynasties which ruled over Vijayanagara were in chronological order: Sangam dynasty, next Saluva dynasty, and the very next is Tuluva dynasty, and the last is Aravidu dynasty. So, Sangam is the first, second is Saluvas, third is Tuluva, and the last is Aravidu, which is the second option is the correct. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. Mahanavami Dibba was located on highest point of Vijayanagara city. Statement 2. Hazara Rama temple was built by Vijayanagara rulers for subjects of empire. Which of the following statement is correct? The options are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, all of the above, option D, none of the above. The answer is option A, where only the first statement is correct, as Mahanavami Dibba was located on the highest point of Vijayanagara city. There is evidence that it supported a wooden structure and the base of the platform is covered with relief carvings. Whereas going to the statement 2, which is incorrect, because the Hajara Rama temple, this was probably meant to be used only by the king and his family, but not for the subjects of the empire. So only the option A is correct. Proceeding to the next question. Whose policy led to decline of imperial city of Vijayanagar? The given options are Ramaraya, option B, Sadasivaraya, option C, Achyuta Devaraya, option D, Venkata 2. I will give you 10 seconds of time. Please mention your answers in the comment section. The answer is option A, Ramaraya. Although the armies of the sultans were responsible for the destruction of the city of Vijayanagara, but it was adventurous policy of Ramaraya, who tried to play off one sultan against another, that led the sultans to combine together and decisively defeat him. Chandana, you mentioned your answer as Ramaraya. Correct answer. Keep going. Option A is the correct. Proceeding to the next question. Who was responsible for bringing ruins of Hampi to light? The given options are option A, John M. Fritz, option B, Colonel Colin Mackenzie, option C, George Michael, and option D, John Marshall. Ping your answers in the comment section, please. Chandana, CCM ma'am. Okay, Colonel Colin Mackenzie. Yeah, correct answer, Chandana. Keep going. Yes, the ruins at Hampi were brought to light in 1800 by an engineer and antiquarian named Colonel Colin Mackenzie, an employee of the English East India Company. He prepared the first survey map of the site. Moving on to the next question. Just a second. Yeah, Krishnadevaraya, the greatest Vijayanagara ruler, who was also known as Abhinava Bhoja, belonged to which dynasty? The given options are option A, Tulavas dynasty. Option B, Saluvas dynasty. Option C, Sangam dynasty. Option D, Aravidu dynasty. Where Krishnadevaraya belonged to which dynasty? Chandana? Taluva's dynasty, ma'am. Correct answer. Keep going. Yes, Krishnadevaraya belonged to the Taluva dynasty. Proceeding to the next question. System of Amaranayaka was inspired from option A, Mukti system, option B, Diwan Riyasat system, option C, Chahalgani system, option D, Ikta system. Try to answer this question, Chandana. Correct answer, Chandana. It is Ikta system. Option D, which is Ikta system. The Amarnayaka system was a major political innovations of the Vijayanagara Empire. It is likely that many features of the system were derived from the Ikta system of the Delhi Sultanate. So, moving to the next question. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. Gopuram were pavilion that ran around the shrines within the temple complex. Statement 2. Mandapas were placed at the top of Virupaksha temple. Which of the following statement is correct? The options are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both of them, option D, none of them. The answer is option D, none of the above. Moving to the explanatory part. Rayagopurams were royal gateways, but not a pavilion, which is mentioned in the statement. Those are only the royal gateways that often dwarf the towers on the central shrines and signaled the presence of the temple from a great distance, which we can say that it is an entrance part. And actually this was a very tricky question to check your grip on the terms, and moreover, whereas the second statement is also incorrect because mandapas were pavilions and long pillared corridors, so this can't be placed at the top of the Virupaksha temple that often ran around the shrines within the temple complex. So both the statements are incorrect. Option D is the correct answer for this question. Moving on to the next question. With respect to Vijayanagar Empire, Kudirai Chettis were? The options are option A, military officers, option B, peasants, option C, village headman, option D, horse traders. Try to answer this, Chandana. I'll give you 5 seconds of time. Please mention your answers in the comment section. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, Chandana. An answer for this question is horse traders. Military officers is the wrong answer, Chandana. Keep it up. Try to answer more questions. The answer is option D, horse traders. The trade in Vijayanagara Empire was initially controlled by Arab traders. Local communities of merchants known as Kudirai Chettis or horse merchants also participated in these exchanges. Option D is the correct answer. Proceeding to the last question for this day. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Dam on the river Tungabhadra was built by Krishna Devaraya. And the statement 2. Fortification was only done around city. Which of the following statement is not correct? The given options are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both A and B, option D, none of these. We have to choose which is the incorrect statement. I will give you 10 seconds of time. Ping your answers in the comment section. One is incorrect, ma'am, but don't know the second one. All right. The answer is both A and B are incorrect. This dam was made by kings from the Sangama dynasty, but not by Krishna Devaraya, who was from the Tuluva dynasty. So the statement 1 is absolutely incorrect. Whereas moving to the second statement is also incorrect, because as for the city's fortifications, there were 7 lines of forts that surrounded not only the city but also the nearby farmland and forest. So we can say that the statement 2 is also incorrect one. So as both the statements are incorrect, we can conclude that option C is the correct answer for this question. And yes, that's it for today. We'll continue this in our next class. Thank you. Thank you, Chandana, for interacting the session. Thank you.